Hello, everybody, and welcome to another special edition of the Real Deal podcast. We're going to be talking about the Oscars, which were just a mere 2 days ago. We sat on them. We've had some time to think about everything that happened, and we are going to be here talking about our reactions to probably a lot of things. So, my name is Matthew Simmons, and if you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick.
I'm Tiara Spells.
I'm Nate Richard.
And we are just going to jump right into it. So the big news to come out of this Oscars show is that Parasite
swept. Grammar.
Woo woo.
And I was a very, very happy man.
So was I.
A lot of people were, which is very strange.
I was too.
An Oscar.
For an Oscar ceremony.
After the result of last year where Green Book won, and that made some people very unhappy, including myself. I know Nate's supportive of that film, and that's okay. I'm not gonna judge.
I'm the one decent person who likes that movie. The only decent person.
You're in a demographic of one, my friend.
Like maybe
yes.
4.
But yeah, Parasite won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and International Feature. And the picture, a little surprising because 1917 was sweeping, but the director was probably the biggest surprise of the night, considering that Sam Mendes was going in as the front runner for 19. He was pretty much a sure thing at that point, but as soon as Bong Joon-ho's name was called, I just knew. Like, Parasite was winning Best Picture, and it was over, and everything. Yeah. The stars were kind of aligning.
I was low-key kind of scared, because I know they got Best International Picture. They just changed that, didn't they? From Best Foreign Film to Best International Picture.
Yeah.
Right? Which is pretty interesting, but I was nervous, because since it won International Picture, that it wasn't going to win Best Picture, but here we are.
Yeah, no,
I'm very happy.
Yeah, I was very happy that night. Yeah. I was very vocal and loud that entire night.
Yeah. Something Oh, thanks, Nate. I was gonna say that it's interesting considering how it got absolutely no acting noms.
Yeah.
Considering it won almost every other category it was in. And the performances were very strong in that film, and they're some of the most, like, it's one of the most important, like, the characters are one of the most important elements to that story, and seeing them get no love was a little disappointing.
No, I agree with you. That was one of the things we talked about on our last podcast, and that's something the Academy has had a problem with, recognizing great performances in international pictures and foreign language films in general. I mean, we had the whole Oscars so white controversy again this year, and
yeah, it's weird how nothing has changed.
No, absolutely. Go ahead, Nate.
I want to say something about that.
Sure.
Because I was annoyed when Chris Rock brought that up just about the black actors, when there is a problem. They have a problem not nominating Asian actors. Like, has there ever been an Asian who has won for acting?
Off the top of my head, I don't believe so. And I believe that's kind of what the Parasite controversy brought up, is that, like, a lot of actors of Asian descent rarely get nominated for the Academy Awards.
Best actor, there are a few. Yeah, not a lot. There are 4 Asian women in the Best Supporting Actress who have been nominated. Oh, they're counting Natalie Portman as Asian.
What?
Because she's Israeli.
No.
That's
certainly a take.
That's a tough statistic.
Yeah, Best Actress, Natalie Portman, 2010 and 2016, and 1935. Man,
that's crazy to me.
good
But
lord.
as you know, as disappointed as I was that that specific controversy wasn't brought up, the night was filled with a lot of actors taking jabs at the Academy, and going into it, I was kind of afraid that it was going to be just another boring and underwhelming year. But like Parasite winning Best Picture, which is the first international film to ever win this award, is such a huge deal.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was gonna
go ahead, Nate.
Okay. Because last year I was adamant. Swore up and down that Roma was gonna win last year and be the first foreign language film. And like with Parasite this year, since Roma lost last year, I just kind of assumed early on, before Parasite really started picking up steam, that it would probably lose Best Picture as well. As much as it deserved to win Best Picture, I thought they were just going
to screw it up again, basically.
I definitely had that thought too. But I was pleasantly surprised with how everything happened. The one thing I was actually sort of like really disappointed in was the fact that none of my favorites for documentary short won, but that's okay. Like otherwise it was still a great night. I think.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with this telecast. So before we jump into that, I just wanted to ask both of you just real quickly, with Parasite having the sweep that it did and how important that is to the Academy history, do you think this is a signal that the Academy is changing and stepping up to the times, and we'll be able to see like more important winners in the future, not just like what crew and film has like wins the popularity contest, but we'll see like results and like the best film starting to win? Or do you think this is going to be kind of like a 1 in a million thing, and the Academy is going to resort back to its
Another
old
Academy
ways?
fluke.
Yeah. So Tiara, I'll start with you. See what you think about that.
I definitely have mixed feelings about that, because I feel like in the past we've thought we've seen the Academy take strides to be more inclusive, but then the next year it's like it's like this year, like 2016 was Oscar so white. It's 2020 and we're still talking about it. Like it sort of has this almost every other year, like they get called out on it, they fix it, and then the next year it's like we have suddenly forgotten everything we learned last year. So maybe is my answer.
Strong maybe. What about you, Nate?
Have to see.
Because the thing was, remember how everyone, including myself, thought it was very like progressive when they gave Moonlight Best Picture.
Oh yeah.
Because first of all, that was a black-led film that wasn't about slavery, so they're branching out to beyond just Oscar bait. This was an actual like movie that was made with passion, not just manufactured to win awards. And then the next year they gave it to Shape of Water, which was also another out-of-the-box winner. But then the following, just last year, they gave it to Green Book, and they kind of took a step back, because like Green Book is like, it's almost like what used to win back in like the 80s and 90s, like your Rain Man and
Driving Miss Daisy was like a comparison it got to all the time.
So I don't know, because like even this year, there's no, because usually the day after the Oscars, all those websites are running like, oh, what will be the big movies at next year's Oscars? And usually they call out like, I remember last year at this time, it was like The Irishman and Little Women, and there's already rumblings about Parasite. But like I looked this year for like next year's, there's like nothing. Sounds all just very like Oscar baity.
Yeah. I mean, it can't, that's kind of a good thing to look at when you're looking at the future. I don't know if that's necessarily an indication of what's to come. But I mean, it's just gonna have to be kind of a wait and see thing. I'm definitely with both of
Yeah.
you where I'm just very much torn. Like I've put my trust into the Academy way too many times and they've let me down consistently. Um, so who really knows? Like we're not the ones to say. We're not members of the Academy. We're not gonna persuade their opinion or anything.
Right.
Um, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, this is a good sign. I hope they keep this trend up, but who knows? So, great answers from both of you guys. So now we get to kind of dive in a little bit into the telecast itself. Um, so disregarding anything about the nominations or the winners, we'll get to those eventually a little bit at the end here. But I just kind of want to know what you guys' thoughts were on just the telecast itself. So Nate, you can start off with this one.
It was kind of boring. Last year, I remember I watched it with Tiara last year, and we commented how like quick that show went. I thought to know this year when they brought out like Steve Martin and Chris Rock to intro, I'm like, are they like the secret hosts? That was like pointless, and just I don't know. It just didn't work as well as it did last year. Like it was kind of boring overall.
No, I 100% agree with you on that. Do you agree with that, Tira?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of goofy how they had introductions for the people who were giving the introductions. I was like, what? If you want to shorten the ceremony, this is not how you do it. Like, the guy, what? It just didn't make any sense to me.
Like even later in the show, they had George McKay make a joke. Where he was like, they brought me out to introduce this next person who will then introduce another person. And
yeah,
it's
exactly
so
what it was. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, huh? I guess it was a way to get more people involved in the show, but like, be creative, you guys. Like,
right.
This is the job, like, to be creative.
That
is a stern message to the Academy.
Be creative.
So the telecast started off with a performance from Janelle Monáe, who I personally love Janelle Monáe, but this is going to be a repeating trend throughout this conversation, but this musical number seemed very, I don't know, strange and weird and just kind of out of place.
Yeah, it was odd. And like I get what it was trying to do, like, oh, we're paying homage to all the films that didn't get nominated, but also it's sort of like, why? They didn't get nominated. Like,
it made me sad seeing all of those people cosplayed in Midsummer apparel.
And us. And I was like, this is just rubbing it in that they didn't get nominated. Like, stop. It was so cute when the little Midsummer girls like walked by Florence and she like smiled at them. That was very cute.
Yeah.
I love Florence.
Again, shout out to Florence P for being amazing.
Yeah. You know what? I'm a little disappointed. I don't know what these cats are doing in my door. I'm so sorry.
Is it James Corden and Rebel Wilson?
Oh God. Speaking of awful, that was awful. And then the fact that they like made fun of the VFX people, like, failed.
Yeah.
I thought that was just super mean-spirited. Like, these
people
did so much work to make this movie work, and even though it didn't, I think it's just way too soon to kind of take a massive dump on this.
Yeah, and didn't a lot of people get like laid off from their job, or didn't that production company like shut down or something? Like that effect studio?
Yeah.
Like, dude, what?
Especially
That's so disrespectful.
Especially because like those two aren't they like two of the worst parts of that movie in general?
I mean, everything in that movie is bad, but yes, I would say they're Rebel Wilson specifically. Her scene is one of the most traumatic, nightmare-inducing things I've seen. But like,
Rebel Wilson was also awful in Jojo Rabbit. She was the worst part about Jojo Rabbit.
She was like I hate Rebel Wilson usually. I can't stand her. I liked her in Jojo Rabbit just because maybe she wasn't doing her typical shtick. I mean, she kind of still was, but
it was a little dialed down from Taika's script, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Oscar winner Taika Waititi. Also,
I know. I'm so happy for him.
Although I will say I was rooting for Greta for Little Women. I think her script was my favorite out of that bunch. I mean, I can't complain about Oscar winner Taika Waititi.
Yeah, for real.
So
it made me so happy.
I know, because JoJo was your favorite movie of last year.
Yes.
And JoJo was in my top 10 somewhere. So like I said, I won't complain about that at all. But back to the telecast itself. I think there was an official count somewhere. I think there was like 12 musical numbers the entire night. 12 musical numbers. This was a 3.5 hour long telecast about movies. Who made the executive decision that we need to have Eminem come back to perform "Lose Yourself" to a crowd of
that was great.
white people?
Jeez,
that was great.
So fried. Idina Menzel's face. I'm so glad somebody posted that picture immediately after it happened, because I looked at Celia and was like, look at her face! Like,
her and Billie Eilish had some really great reaction shots for me.
Yeah.
No, I was watching the montage go along, and they had like an extended bit at the end where it's Eminem, and I literally said out loud, they're about to bring Eminem on stage, aren't they? That'd be so funny. And then Lose Yourself started playing, and the stage, like, the curtains rose, and I was like, oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me.
It was so out of nowhere. And I guess I saw a tweet that was like, oh, he didn't perform when 8 Mile, like, was nominated and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I guess that's cool, but, like, it's 2020, bro.
Like, Eminem has released 3 bad albums in the last, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
I just don't understand a lot of this. And like, besides maybe, I think Cynthia Erivo's musical number was the only one that I really enjoyed, because Cynthia Erivo is an amazing singer, and her presence is just, it's undeniable talent. She's got it. But like the Into the Unknown with all of the different language Elsas, I like the concept, but so many of them were pitchy, and
I noticed that
they were not hitting those notes whatsoever, and I don't know, it just did not come off like very well executed at all. I don't know, that I can say
like
that was,
they rehearsed that like once.
Yeah, they got into the room that morning, sang it once, and they're like, all right, let's do this thing.
Okay, we got it. Yeah, it was like, it was also kind of funny because it was very much, oh, we're showcasing all of these different people from around the world, but also Idina Menzel is the star. Like, it was very funny.
Do you think it would have went better if she sang as her character from Uncut Gems?
She was in Uncut Gems?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She plays Adam Sandler's ex-wife.
Oh, my God.
She's very good in the movie.
Yeah.
She's very good. I do like her.
I do too. I think she's talented. I just think that just every single musical performance.
I'm tired of Frozen is what
That's it.
This is what this segment is going to.
I mean, the Academy was tired of it too, because it pretty much got snubbed for Best Animated Feature.
Which, I mean, and Toy Story got it, so it's not like not like Disney was snubbed.
Yeah.
Well, Toy Story deserved that.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's be honest here.
I
didn't see the other one, so I can't like.
I'd be happy. I would have been happy with How to Train Your Dragon finally picking up an Oscar for the series, but Toy Story is the clear favorite out of all of those movies.
Yeah.
All of the other ones seemed interesting, like the way they like the way the animation looked.
Yeah, Klaus and I Lost My Body have some really stunning animation.
Yeah, it would have just been nice to see, like I said, the Academy be a little creative. And
as long as it wasn't
go for something. I didn't see that one. I don't know what that is.
Well,
It's
one.
But also, it's kind of clear that the people on the Academy don't watch all of the films. Like, they admit it in the Hollywood Reporter articles that they release every
like
year.
the secret Oscar voters. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like
Yeah.
2014, when they're like, "Oh, I only watched Frozen, so Frozen's getting my nomination," and I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. There were also we should divert to like something, a little bit more positive. Let's think of if do you guys have like a favorite speech of the night or favorite moment you could think off the top of
Let
your head?
me look over.
Okay. I'll go ahead and share mine real quickly. Besides, I would say probably Laura Dern, and Laura Dern probably has the honorable mention. And also maybe Brad Pitt getting surprisingly emotional during his speech. Every time that Bong Joon-ho was on stage, I was just very happy, and his speeches were incredible, especially like when he won original screenplay and he ended it with "Thank you, I'm gonna drink a lot tonight." And then when he went back up again for international feature, he said something very similar to that. But it was when he won Best Director, and you could tell he was very shocked by that, as were a lot of people. And he mentioned a quote from Martin Scorsese, and
I love
had
that moment.
the entire auditorium giving him a standing ovation. And I just thought that was one of the greatest Oscar moments ever. Maybe.
Yeah, it was a very sweet moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that how it felt like he was just like thanking all of his fellow nominees. It was very sweet. I love that.
Yeah, that was just really great, and that's kind of what I was missing a lot from the Academy Awards. I love moments like that, and I wish there were more.
Well, I want to say something about that.
Go ahead.
Because Bong Joon-ho is one of the most purest filmmakers. And then, like, film Twitter is, like, trying to pit him against every single other nominee. Like, oh, he didn't mean what he said to Tarantino, or he didn't mean what he said to Scorsese. I'm like, yeah, he probably did.
Yeah, he seems like a real genuine guy. Like, based on just what I've seen of him, just at the Oscars alone, like, he seems like a really happy, genuine guy. Did you see the video of him afterward when he was getting his Oscars engraved, and he was like, he had like all 4 or 5 of them sitting in front of him. He was like, "Oh, sorry, too much hard work," and he was like joking about it, and it was so cute. I was like, I love him.
Yeah.
He's so sweet.
Yeah, he was one of the stars this award season for sure.
And his interpreter.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
Did you know that she's a filmmaker too?
Yeah. He spoke about it at the press conference afterward.
Yeah. She mentioned.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, she mentioned something that she kind of wants to make a movie about the award season.
Yeah.
Which I'd watch that.
Ooh.
That sounds interesting.
Me too.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
But do you guys have any other great moments of the night you'd want to highlight?
When Hair Love won, just because I had seen, I think I spoke about it on the last one. I had seen the process of, like, it was like an original, like, it was just a tweet, an idea Matthew Cherry had tweeted, and now they are on the stage winning an Oscar. I thought that was really like that hit me a little bit. I was like, wow. That's cool. Like, wow.
He called it like back in 2000, it was like 11 or 13. Oh, was it 16?
Oh, well, he made the original, that tweet. He's like, oh, I have an idea for an Oscar award winning movie or something like that.
Yeah,
and that was 2016.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, there were tweets going viral also that it was like tweets from like 2013 where he was like, I'm gonna win an Oscar one day, just wait. And that's very cool. I love Matthew Cherry. I follow him on Twitter, and he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And Hair Love's a great short too. Deserved the win.
Mm-hmm.
So cute.
So good.
Yeah. So Nate, anything else you want to mention about the Oscars being wonderful.
I mean, I did Walking Phoenix. Like, I liked a lot of his speech where he talked about his late brother, River. I thought that was a good speech.
You could tell he got choked up a little bit. That was
He doesn't ever talk about that stuff. So
yeah.
No.
I miss River Phoenix.
Yeah. Tyke, obviously, and who was the other one? Hildor, the woman from who did the score for Joker.
Yeah. I liked her speech as well. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Especially in the River Phoenix thing, which is a very nice segue into, I want to talk about the speeches from the Best Actor and Actress winners. Joaquin Phoenix and Renee Zellweger, who both gave very, in my opinion, strange acceptance speeches.
Yeah.
I'll start off with Joaquin because we mentioned him first. I think that he's deserved this Oscar for a very long time. Like, I'm just gonna pretend in my head he won for The Master. But I don't know. I feel like he was just trying to fit in so much of his views and awareness into one speech where it didn't really come off consistent or like a concise argument or anything. It just kind of came off like he was rambling a lot. And then like when he name dropped like insemination of cows was like the point where I was just like,
huh?
like I said, I understand and agree with a lot of what he said, but just the amount of things he was saying just didn't seem like, I don't know. What did you guys think?
I sort of feel the same way. I was into it at first. I was like, oh, is he gonna pop off like he did at the Golden Globes or whatever? Was that the Golden Globes?
It was the BAFTAs with his inclusivity speech, which was incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, oh, is he gonna pop off again? And then he started talking some more, and I was like, what, bro?
Yeah, and Nate, anything else to add about Joaquin before we move on to our next lovely person?
Yeah. He definitely kind of went on and rambled for a bit. With the cow stuff, that kind of had me rolling my eyes a bit. But at the same time, like, I saw Variety tweeted today, like, acting like it was news of him carrying around a disposable water bottle. It's like, wow. That's not news.
That's not how this works.
There was a moment with Chris Pratt because Jason Momoa was like, oh, like he's like really passionate about the earth and environment and stuff, and he like commented on a Chris Pratt Instagram post and was like, oh, disposable water bottles, like, really, dude? Like, and then I guess people started sort of running with that and actually trying to make that news, and I'm like,
it's pointless. That's probably all they had there at the Academy, probably.
Yeah.
Like, they probably don't have an endless amount of, reusable water bottles or non-disposable ones, which maybe they should look into that, but but yeah, it's just people are going to be using that speech for the wrong reasons. Like, I think he brought up a lot of good points that people should talk about it, but I think people are just going to take it the wrong way, and maybe if he had stated his claims a little bit better, it would have been better. But let's talk about Renee Zellweger, who far and away had probably the most I can't even think of words to process what she was saying. I don't even remember half of what she said because I swear she was speaking up there for a good 4 minutes.
Yeah, and I had no idea what she was talking about at all.
It seemed like another Joaquin problem where she was jumping from topic to topic so quickly, but like Joaquin's speech taken to like the next 3 levels,
Oh gosh, yeah, I was watching it with Celia and her friend Zoe, who's at Newslink, and we were all just sort of looking like, oh yay, Renee Zellweger. And then it just unraveled. And we were sort of like, she's been talking for like 5 minutes. What's going on? What is she saying? Like, and she was talking about her parents and like, what was she talking about? Can either of you explain it to me?
I'm gonna try to.
I don't know
some of what she said, but I'm not finding any articles that spew it clearly because she started off like thanking some of the fellow nominees and then some other people and then some things in her life, and then talked a lot about Judy Garland, which it makes sense because she played her, but like just like you said, like they just weren't very concise statements or anything. And then like I'll admit I zoned out of like her speech for a little bit, and I looked up, and when I saw she was still speaking and I heard her say like something about like exceptionalism and inclusivity, I was just like, oh my god, where is she going with this?
I was like, what are you talking about?
Did you have that same reaction, Nate, as Tiara and I?
Yeah, I did. I zoned out a lot during her speech because I was like, okay, all right, you're like, because she had like no buzz on her. She was winning all the awards, but no one was even talking about her performance. So it wasn't like the penultimate moment of awards season, like Laura Dern was, or Brad Pitt, or Walking Phoenix. Like, it's not like she's having some now resurgence in her career, which was a weird thing.
A lot of people were kind of framing it like that, where it's like, oh, like Renee Zellweger's making a comeback, and I'm like, what exactly is she coming back from, and why is it this movie? I haven't seen Judy, which I'm sure
I saw it.
Most people haven't, but I have a hard time believing
every movie.
Yeah, that's not surprising for Nate, but like I have a hard time believing that people saw Judy and were like, yeah, that's the performance of the year, bar none.
Yeah, I feel like there were other female performances the past year that stood out.
Lupita, Saoirse,
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh should have won something.
Scarlett.
Yeah, like Scarlett Johansson was incredible in Marriage Story. Like, I don't know. Maybe I need to see Judy to understand what I'm talking about here. But I just don't understand like where this momentum came from and why we decided so early that Renee Zellweger was going to get her second Oscar. And like, it's not even her first one. She's already won before. So what?
Why was it a big deal? Yeah.
Why was it a big deal that she had to win for this performance? I don't know.
She was playing a Hollywood figure. That's why.
Yeah, she's playing right into the Academy's hands. That makes sense, but still, I don't know. I don't know. There was so many other choices that you could have gone with, but whatever. I'm just shouting into the void right now. So.
Fair.
I'm trying to think where to go through from here. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that went on. Maybe we can talk about, some of like the best presenters or whatever when they were up there. I think my vote this early would probably be Maya Rudolph and Kristen Wiig.
Maya Rudolph and Kristen Wiig always have very solid introductions.
Yeah.
Normally, I can't tolerate the comedians trying to do bits. Because normally I don't think they're funny, but I feel like they, out of all of comedian bits, are always the most consistent.
No, I mean, Maya Rudolph, and they both, like you said, they both kill it anytime that they're called on stage to present anything, and it was just all over the place and just super, super funny.
It was very funny. The moment where they started singing.
Oh my god.
So good. It was very good.
and that's where we got the Billie Eilish reaction meme too. So
yeah.
Lots of great stuff. Anything that popped out to you, Nate?
My boy, Steven Spielberg. I know he didn't really have a personality. But in terms of actual ones, I mean, I like Maya Rudolph and Kristen Wiig, but probably my favorite was just seeing Shia LaBeouf and Zach Gottsagen from Peanut Butter Falcon. Just seeing them present.
That was a good moment.
That was a very cool moment.
That warmed my heart so much.
Peanut Butter Falcon was a very cute movie.
It's so good.
It was very, very sweet. I really
liked to see it.
Me too. I got to see it through Heartland, which was cool. But because otherwise I don't think I would have. But I'm glad I got the opportunity to see it because it was very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agree with you. That was a really cool moment. Other honorable mentions. Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus also had very good chemistry, just being like pretending like they had no idea what cinematography or film editing meant.
Yeah, that was funny.
I thought they were very good. Also, Olivia Colman too near the end was hysterical, dropping a lot of a lot of innuendos about how when she won the Oscar last year, it was the best night of her husband's life.
I love her. I adore her.
She is fantastic, and I just love seeing more of her. And also, shout out to the blonde haircut she's got too.
Yeah, it looks good. Can I talk about just a separate Oscar moment that I really loved? It wasn't even technically a part of the show.
Sure.
I follow Bruce Franks Jr. on Twitter, who's the subject of St. Louis Superman, which is one of the shorts, the documentary shorts. And he had made a post about how Mark Ruffalo came up to him on the red carpet and was like, "Hey, Bruce," and like gave him a hug, and they like took pictures and stuff together. It was so cute. I was very happy. Like, I was like, I didn't know they were friends. It was so sweet.
I know Mark Ruffalo is very involved, like, politically, and with a lot of like things that, you know, a lot of people may not be aware of, and that's really cool to hear. And not surprising at all coming from Mark Ruffalo either.
True.
Oh, and here's another thing. What did you guys think of the Billie Eilish in memoriam performance?
I really like Billie Eilish.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's super talented for someone so young. I liked her rendition of Yesterday. I really liked the voice that she uses for like her ballads and stuff. So, I liked it. I'm sure a lot of people didn't, just because he was like, "Oh, who's this Zoomer singing my?"
She doesn't know who Van Halen is. Get out of here.
Singing my Beatles music.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a really beautiful performance.
I
thought
no, she did. Yeah, no.
We're all just in agreement that we like Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
So also talk a little bit more about just like the nominees and the winners. Tiara, I kind of want to hear from you a little bit, because you know more about this than we do, because it's kind of our blind spot. Overall, what did you think of? I know you touched on it earlier, but like, what did you think of the winners of the documentary short subject category?
That's the one I haven't seen. It looked interesting. It looked interesting based on like the clips that they showed, but I have no idea what it's about.
I'm sorry for typing that up so much.
No, that's okay. I just need to go through and like actually watch it or find it somewhere. But I mean, I have no qualms with it.
Okay.
Because it seems like an interesting story.
Right.
And it's not like, I don't know. It's not like some random, like, I don't know. I feel like they're all political in some way.
Yes, they seemed very much to lean towards the political this year.
Which is
sure.
which is interesting. Sorry, I'm like reading the names and stuff, and my brain is like, but it's interesting, and I'm glad they went with, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to speak today. I'm sorry.
You're saying that you want to go watch the winner before making any concrete decisions, which that is something we should all learn and take part of.
Fair.
I want to real quickly before we end this, because we pretty much ran through everything. Unless you guys have some final thoughts, I'll ask at the end. But before we end the podcast, I kind of want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we think are going to age well about this Oscars, whether that's the telecast or some of the results, and, you know, things that won't age well. And I'm going to start off because I kind of figured going into the night this was going to be the case. But The Irishman not winning a single award is going to be a huge just WTF moment for the future, I think.
Yeah.
It's honestly, like, I think I can say it. Like, I think it's one of Scorsese's best movies he's ever made.
Really?
And it's just so powerful and beautiful and universally loved. And, you know, there were people out there who were complaining that it's 3.5 hours long, and that shouldn't affect someone if a movie is good.
Yeah.
You know? That shouldn't be a preconception. And also,
it's long.
Yeah. Also, the fact that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you know, it won for Brad Pitt won, which is awesome. It won for production design, which it was deserved, but that kind of seems like a low number of awards for that film to take too. Like, if it was released like last year,
it might have last year maybe, yeah.
it may, like any other year, as what I'm saying, like it might have done a lot better. And the same goes for Irishman. But I don't know. Do you guys have anything that you think we're gonna look back on and just be like, why? Or, you know, why didn't this happen?
Nate, would you like to go?
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Renee Zellweger's win. I really think that's going to be like a win that people are going to forget that she won for that. This is her second Oscar and everything. So, and I just looked up like her IMDb. She has like no new projects even coming up. So, compared to like ScarJo or Saoirse Ronan or any of the other actors, I feel like one of their wins would have had even more impact than Renee Zellweger's.
I kind of agree, honestly. Not even knocking Renee Zellweger. I mean, I haven't seen her performance in that movie, but like,
she's a good actress.
Yeah, I think she's a great actress, but I feel like, I don't know. Even Charlize Theron, I feel like I would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's Charlize. Yeah.
Show. So.
What'd you say? You cut out a little bit.
Me?
Yeah, you did a little bit when you were saying something.
Oh. She was really good in Bombshell. I wouldn't have been mad if she won. I mean, she gave a pretty impactful performance, my opinion.
Right. Do you think that kind of went hand in hand where, like, some people might have thought if they gave Charlize the Oscar, it'd be kind of giving Megyn Kelly an Oscar? And they just were like, no, we don't do that.
That's fair. I mean, I get how people would be like thinking about that, but also I think it would be a testament to Charlize's acting,
right,
and how she was able to convincingly portray the ghoul that is Megyn Kelly.
Yeah,
very, very nicely worded. Trying to think of any other quick hot takes. You know, like, just the usual stuff where it's just like, I don't know, like Joaquin, I think, won for the wrong role. I think he could have taken it any of the other previous times, but again, I'm happy he won. Laura Dern, I'm happy she won. She was great in Marriage Story, but should have been nominated for Little Women.
I agree.
I believed that more.
I haven't even seen Little Women, but I saw the clips from Marriage Story, and I was like, it looks like she's just playing her character in Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies, yeah. I'm gonna say Liars.
Okay, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Continue.
That's okay. No, I'm pretty much done talking about the Oscars for the main part. If you guys have any last thoughts, go ahead and spew them out.
I was surprised by Bombshell winning best makeup and hair. I feel like all they really did was make them look like Karens.
Really again for all of the Karens of the world.
I know, and I was like, I mean, congrats to those ladies, to those people, but like, I feel like, I don't know, I'm always conflicted about the makeup and hairstyling. I'm like, is it supposed to be like outstanding? Like, is it something that is supposed to be noticeable, or is it best makeup and hairstyling because we don't notice it? Like, I feel like the Bombshell looks were more toned down, and I don't know if that necessarily warranted that, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, from I haven't seen Bombshell yet, but from the footage that I have seen with like the trailers and some of the clips, they really did a lot to transform the three stars, Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie, and Charlize Theron, into these people, and also John Lithgow as Roger Ailes. So a lot of work was gone into it. It's very seamless. But like, you look at the other nominees, like Joker for makeup and hairstyling is an odd choice.
I agree, because the only one who wore makeup really was Joaquin.
It's Joaquin. Yeah.
Yeah. De Niro looked like De Niro.
I haven't seen Judy, so I can't say anything about that. Same thing with Maleficent, although like there's usually a really big blockbuster with heavy prosthetics work that makes it into that category. And then like 1917, there wasn't anything really unique about that makeup or hairstyling, I think. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is, to quote Joe Pesci.
True.
Nate, any other closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
I don't really. I think I said everything I wanted to say.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, okay. I guess I do have one quick thing, just very quickly. If we want to see one thing that the Academy takes from this year to keep it with like the next like decades or so, what do you think is the lesson they should learn from this award show? What should we see different next year? My vote is personally, even though like this is going to be very, very surface level, because I think they should award creative and amazing movies like Parasite. Get rid of the amount of musical numbers in your telecast, because they're just overwhelming and they don't matter.
And I guess it's the way to show off the best original song, but like,
I don't mind when they're like singing all the original songs, but when they sing other stuff or have other, like there was that comedian like at the halfway point who did a rap recapping the first, like,
yeah, that was so weird.
It was out of place, and I'm sure the guy is super talented, but it just didn't make any sense to me at all. But yeah, that's just my vote. I just don't want any more musical numbers. Get rid of them. Nate, anything off the top of your head you can think of?
Yeah, make it less like the Grammys, make it like a movie award show. You spend more time focusing on best than you do on best picture.
Can you repeat that, Nate? I didn't hear you. You cut out.
Oh, sorry.
You're okay.
I was just saying, it's not the Grammys, it's the Oscars, and they spend much more time focusing on best original song than they do best picture.
That is fair.
They agree. They didn't do the thing this year where they do like a little spotlight on each best picture nominee, like individually.
No, but they had introductions for introductions. Okay.
Yeah, they had time for that, and they had time for James Corden and Rebel Wilson to get in cat costumes. But yeah. What about you, Tiara? Anything from this show?
I would like them to actually learn something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, it seems like there's always a pushback against, hey, please be more inclusive. It's like, okay, we'll be inclusive for a year or 2 years, and then we'll forget about it. I want them to actually learn something from the people that win, from the movies and the films that win and stuff. Like, I want them to take that into the future and actually continue to do it. And also, regarding international film, there's been a precedent set by Parasite. And I think this could pave the way for other international films garnering the Best Picture award. And I mean, it's celebrating film, and international films are deserving of Best Picture as well.
Yes. 100% agree. And hopefully, building upon that, I hope the one thing that not just the Academy does, but just the people and the mass public in general, like, I hope this kind of starts breaking the barrier and people like go out and seek foreign film.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important to the history of cinema in general, and also like so many of the greatest films of the year, they come from different places than America, and I think it's important that people are exposed to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a very important win, and I agree with both of you. And I hope the Academy learns their lesson and just improves come this time next year, and hopefully we're not wallowing in deep sadness again.
Green Book 2.
Green Book 2, The King's Speech 2, whatever way you want to paint it.
Crash 2.
Oh my god. So many wonderfully weird choices.
Birdman 2.
Hey,
I knew you were going to say that.
Screw that movie.
On that note, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. If you like what you heard so far, please go follow us on all of our social media and watch like our main show and the film podcast and everything. And we will talk to you guys soon. So thanks for listening.
Bye.
Boy.